very special guest today is an award-winning actor, and he's going to be performing tonight in A Christmas Carol, which you can have information on when he comes on Fashion Dolls. So I'm not going to keep him long, but we're going to dive right into this interview, all right? So without further ado, let's welcome our very special, talented, handsome guest, John F. Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. He was born and raised in Jackson, Tennessee, and I'm super excited to have him here. So we're going to dive right into this interview once he gets here. All right, Fashion Dolls. So I'm super excited about that. Now, joining me tomorrow, we have the Vince Young, and that concludes this week's lineup. So without further ado, let's welcome our handsome, talented, very special guest, John F. Thomas.
Hey, can you see me?
Your camera's there. We are. There we are. Perfect. Welcome to the dollhouse, John.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Such a pleasure to have you here. Before we get into this interview, I won't keep you long. We're just going to get right into it because I know you have a performance coming up tonight. So, how has the year been for you so far? We just came back from Thanksgiving holidays and we're
hmm
going back into work and everything. How has your holidays been for you so far?
Oh, my holidays have been amazing. It's been great. I got to go home and see my family, and I haven't really seen in like my probably a year. I don't know. It's too long, too long. But it was good seeing my family, catching back up with my friends that I haven't seen in years. Old high school friends, and it was beautiful. The food was amazing, and it was just good being back home where it all started. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Yes. Now let's start at the beginning of your journey because you said back home, Jackson, Tennessee. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, you're correct.
Tell us what was that experience like for you growing into your own as an actor, as a singer?
I came from a family of singers. My mom's side of the family, they sung, and my dad's side of the family, they sung. No matter the gathering, before we all leave, we would all sing a song and find a harmony and stay there. So get in on this music. And being heavily involved in church, like my parents were heavily involved in church. So my dad was singing in the choir, my mom singing in the choir, and my dad and mom would go out and perform at different places, at different venues. And maybe I would help them carry equipment, so they can go and perform at these different gatherings and venues and things like that. So I was always involved in it to some degree, but I at some point I wanted to, around when I was in high school, I wanted to take it to the next level. And I started writing my own music, and I wanted to perform my own songs outside of singing songs like Marvin Gaye from the Greats and Sam Cooke and Al Green and things like that. I was like, I want to have my own content, my own material to put out there. And I started there, and then later on, I was also interested in acting, and I was interested in voiceover and all this stuff. So, long story short, I ended up going to LA because LA kind of houses it all. LA kind of has it all there. So, I moved to LA and started pursuing acting more seriously out here, and music has kind of, been put a little to the side. I still do music. I still like perform at weddings and things like that. And, people will request for me to come sing at their gathering and things like that. So that's amazing. But I really feel at home with the acting. I feel comfortable there. I think the music industry has have gotten a little wonky over the years, but the acting industry has appreciated its artists for the most part, its actors, unlike the music industry, which hasn't been protecting its artists. So that's why I kind of moved over more into the acting side than the music.
Absolutely. Now, you began performing at 15 years old. You started very young, and a lot of people that get into this industry, like Brandy, like Monica, a lot of them start off at a very young age. Even Michael Jackson, they all started off at a very young age. And then you began auditioning for your first theatrical play your senior year of high school. What was that
Yeah,
experience like for you? You're now going into your own, in the business, under the wings of your parents, of course. What is it like for
right.
you to have that moment on your own?
It was kind of almost it was by chance, because I wasn't really looking to do that. I wanted to do it in middle school, but it just didn't work out. Because I was at this arts school for middle school. But I think you had to enter into the program sixth grade and all the way through eighth. But they wouldn't
Mm,
let you, even if you were interested, they wouldn't let you get in to their program, even if you were intrigued and just want to try it out, which is unfortunate for to do that to a young child or even the children. And if they're interested, let them do the pursue the thing they're interested in, just to see if they like it and go from there. But high school, there was an opportunity to be a part of this play. So I was just like, you know what, I'm not taking that many hard classes, so it's my senior year. Why not? So I went for it, and next thing you know, I think the director was just like, "Have you ever acted before?" And I told her like, "No." She was like, "Wow, you're really good," and that meant a lot to me, because I was just like, "Oh, so what I felt even back then, the years ago at that point." It was validated at that point, because she was just like, man, like, no, you're good for you to have not acted before. And it was a great performance. It was called The Day That John Lennon Died. And it was, I think about six of us kind of centered around what was happening that day, how it affected all of us. And it was a great time. I loved being a part of that. I loved the opportunity it gave me. It basically opened the door for me to keep pursuing it and to be where I am today. So,
And then you took that leap and you moved to LA, of course, where you're at currently, California,
right.
to pursue more acting. You studied voice acting under Janet Wilcox. She is amazing. So, what was that experience like for
She just opened up a whole new world for us for you as a voice actor to, I mean, because on one hand, you're just watching people on TV, voice these characters, watching these cartoons, and you think oh, I can do the same thing, which, yes, but there's so much more to it, so she added a lot more details into it. It's just like, okay, um, if you're going to create this character's voice, what does this character sound like happy? What does this character sound like sad? What does this character sound like excited? What does this character sound like miserable? And I was just like, oh, like, okay. Like, I didn't really think about it like that. I thought it was just you read these words and you just, you know, have fun. But that's a small part of it. But there's a lot more to it. So I was thankful to have received that from her and to have taken that class amongst the other very lovely voice actors who were also trying to learn about the voiceover industry. And that has propelled me into being a part of some other voiceover projects. I'm working on a cartoon of my own right now to where I'll be voicing some of the characters. So actually, I guess I didn't mean to say that just yet, but here it is on your show. It's the exclusive news.
and not only producing your own comedy series, but you've done comedy. You had a comedy sketch series, Deliver the Funny. So tell us about that.
The little bit funny. I've always been a fan of sketch comedy, even like improv. Whose line is it anyway? I never knew something like that existed until I watched this show, and I was just like, oh, I want to do that. So of course, improv leans heavily into skits and sketches and things like that. And I always love seeing like those comedy movies where you see the bloopers and the actors or comedy movies where they improv and stuff like that. And sometimes the stuff is added into the movies. But I was a huge fan. My favorite sketch show of all time was In Living Color.
Master.
And yeah, it's the best. I mean, nothing, even Saturday Night Live, as great as the show is, it can't touch In Living Color. And so I always wanted something like that back. And so I was just like, what if I can present my own version? Not saying that it's a living color, but just to try to live up to the path that they set, and the things that we're thinking, but some people aren't really saying, and I wanted to just put some really good, funny content out. And I'm still have something in the works with Deliver the Funny. It's not over yet. I took a long break, but I'll be coming back to it very soon. I just need I want it to be right. I want it to be right before I really bring Deliver the Funny back. and I believe everybody's gonna really like what they see when I do bring it back.
And you've also got into some scandal too. You did Memoirs of a Vixen, which is a
Uh,
Bobby Peoples production, which is out right now. So tell us,
uh,
what was it like being in this one? Because you played a range of characters throughout your career.
yeah, that was probably the most challenging because this character, for those that don't know, Memoirs of a Vixen is it's a story about this woman who loves her husband and she wants to have grow her family with her husband, but her husband is he's just so caught up in his own selfish desires, and he loves seeing his wife be with other men. And at first, looking at that role, I was just like, I don't know if I can do it because me personally, in my personal life, I can't do that. I can't. I can't just sit back and let somebody else do what I feel like that is my responsibility, my duty. But I couldn't judge this character going in if I'm to play characters outside of myself. And it's something I think Meryl Streep, I believe she said that don't judge your character, the characters that you play, because they're doing whatever they're doing for a reason. So it's just kind of like even we all have that one trifling family member, I'm sure, somewhere down the line, the cousin, the brother, whatever. And you wonder like why they the way they are. Why do you do this? Why do you always ask for money? Why do you, whatever? And but there's a reason that they are the way they are in their head. Like just like when I looked at this character in this character's head, they feel like what they're doing is right. They feel like what they're doing is correct. They don't they don't look at themselves as a bad guy. Same thing like these villains that you see in these movies. They don't. The villain doesn't look at himself as a bad guy. He looks at himself as I'm the hero. Like I'm right. Everybody else is wrong. So I had to really step to the side and to come into this character to really try to understand, like, okay, why is he like this? Even though I wouldn't do this, but it's not about me. It's about this character that I'm playing. And it was a fun project. Definitely, it was challenging, but it was fun. And I'm glad that Bobby and Renee, they're amazing. Bobby and Renee Peoples, they have a
Yeah.
ton of projects on Tubi right now, so definitely check them out. And actually, we have Girl Code that's coming out soon. It's like maybe spring of next year, 2024, that I'll be in. So look out for that. But Memoirs was definitely challenging, but it was rewarding to finish the project, to bring this character to life. And unfortunately, I got a person sending me a message through social media like, "Oh man, that's exactly what I want to do." I guess he thought that I was like this real life character, and I was just like, "No, man, this I appreciate you, but no, that's not what this is." You're like, "Can you give me some tips on? I want to get my wife." I was like, "No, no, no, that's not." That's not that's just a movie, So, but I guess that speaks to how well I played the character. So I'm very appreciative of that.
And speaking of what makes the character so relatable, what do you think makes a character believable for the audience? What does an actor need to do to make the character believable to the audience? Because that's the reaction that you want.
Yeah, you have to. Again, it goes back to kind of what I was just saying. You have to get out of the way of what your character
Yeah.
wants. Because a lot of times, a lot of people will come into and look at these characters. It doesn't matter if it's a movie or a play or whatever, musical. If you look at what they're asking you to do and you look at this like, oh, I can't, oh, I can't do that. Doesn't make any sense. Or I hate that. I hate that about this. Oh, I can't. You're already defeating yourself because you're saying I can't. I don't like. I don't. So um, it's not about really what you think. Like again, for the character, because this person is the way they are for a reason. As an actor, it's your job to show empathy and sympathy to understand, look at this person's past and like how did they get here, how did they get to this point, and that
Yes.
can give you a better understanding for people. And I think even outside of just acting, I think a lot of people, we in general as human beings, we can tend to learn from that, because we tend to judge so quickly, so harshly of people that we don't either we haven't been around or we haven't interacted with much. We tend to think we already know about them because we write them off. But it's a good practice just to be like, okay, where is this person coming? Get to know the person, or put yourself in their shoes. Like, how would you feel if, et cetera, et cetera? How would you feel if that? And you don't have to, like, even at the end of the day, now that I'm done with memoirs and like with that, I don't agree with the character, me personally. But it's okay. I don't have to agree with the character, but I understand him. I understand him, and if I met a person like that, I wouldn't treat them like a pariah or anything. It's just like, hey, you have your thing, you have your interests, and I have mine. So, but as long as we're not hurting anybody, that's all that matters. To me. But I think that's how an actor, the best way to look at a role is to just remove yourself from anything that, oh, I wouldn't do that, because it doesn't matter what you would do. This character is doing that, so find out why the character is doing that, and really, really live in that. As far as, and by live in it, I don't mean you don't have to method act, but just really, as this character. If you're a Bethany, if you're playing Bethany, or if you're playing Roger, as Roger, really believe that. So I mean, you don't have to wear it forever. You can wear it for 30 minutes, for the scene, and then take it off. You're Anthony again, or you're Crystal again. You don't have to be this character forever. But but it's fun though. It's fun being in these characters and doing stuff that you necessarily wouldn't do. So, and it will, like, maybe it'll open your mind to, like, huh, would I do that? I've never been this open and crazy, but that's fun. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll try to incorporate just a little bit of the craziness. Because my life can tend to be a little boring. So there's all kind of different benefits from it. But I think that's the best way as an actor to approach a character.
And my co-host is here, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Ludd. Make sure you guys go and check out Ludd's Fetish Nails. I know we're kind of on a time crunch this afternoon for today's interview because I can't keep John, which reminds me, you have a performance tonight. You're going to be in A Christmas Carol. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, actually, I still have rehearsal tonight. Last rehearsal before the show. The show is actually tomorrow, so it's going to be Friday at 7 and Saturday at 2 p.m. and another show Saturday night at 7. And it's going to be at the Pico in Los Angeles. So come on down. I have the link in my story, in my Instagram story, so you can click on that. And it's a great show, great crew, great people. Hadia Smith is the one of the founders of Run Amok Entertainment is the name of the company, and I was with them on a project before, a cabaret show. But this is going to be like our little modern take on A Christmas Carol. And I'll be playing two characters. I'll be playing Fred, Scrooge's nephew, and I'll also be playing Mr. Fezziwig, which is Scrooge's former boss. Because we all know, I don't want. We've seen A Christmas Carol a million times, but when the ghost of Christmas past comes to take Scrooge into the
Past,
past,
present, and future.
that's
Yep.
when I'll pop back up. So, but no, that's fun. It's been great diving into these characters and trying to bring them to life and what I can add to the show. It's going to be some great songs, great singers. I feel really good about this cast. It feels like another family when I'm around them, and they're great. They're going to be having more shows, especially this upcoming year. So if anybody is in LA, or if you're visiting LA tomorrow on Saturday, go ahead and get your tickets. They're very reasonable. You're going to have a good time. And so it's going to be at the Pico in Los Angeles. You'll see me singing. I'll be singing some songs. We'll all sing together.
And it's perfect for the Christmas holiday spirit. 12 days
Oh
of
yeah,
Christmas, dolls. All right. So we are going to cut it off here. I'm going to send you guys with the final thought of the day, which comes from Shonda Rhimes. And Shonda Rhimes says there's nothing wrong with being driven, and there's nothing wrong with putting yourself first to reach your goals, which goes along with what John just said, which is stepping outside of your norm, stepping outside of your comfort zone, doing things you wouldn't normally do, and getting out your own way. I heard Mary J. Blige say that in an interview once. I had to get out of my own way when it
yeah,
came to her acting because we see her on the Power Book spinoff, and we see her in Mudbound. We've seen her in so many films that she had to step out of her own way and get comfortable into getting into character. And
yeah.
that's what I want people to do going into the new year of 2024. This year went by so fast. And
Fast.
I can only imagine what 2024 is going to have in store. So that's today's final thought. John, any final thoughts before we let you go? Where can everyone follow you and check out A Christmas Carol?
Yeah, you can go to runamuckentertainment.com. RUNAMUCK entertainment.com is where you can get the tickets for the show A Christmas Carol. You can follow me on Instagram, official John F. Thomas. On Facebook, should be the same. Just type in John F. Thomas, I'll pop up. Twitter, you can find me there. YouTube, I'm there as well. Or you can just go to my website, John F. Thomas. Typically, I have everything as much as I can remember up to date as possible. So, but if it's not up to date on there, it's going to be on my socials. Just like Steve was just saying, it's been this year's gone by so fast. So I'm trying to catch up to myself. So even with this interview, I wasn't able to get back with Stevie as much as I wanted, as I
Yeah,
normally do
you're
because I've been
busy.
so busy. But I'm glad that I was able to get on this interview because I love talking with you. I love spending this time with you. You are such a genuine and great, kind spirit. So I like keeping people like that in my circle. So I appreciate you for coming into my circle and allowing me into your circle. I really I appreciate you for that.
Definitely. And I would love to have you back on again. Don't be a
Yeah.
stranger.
Yeah, I'm definitely no, I'm not a stranger, not anymore. This is my second time on here, so no, we ain't strangers now. We're friends and family.
Definitely. All right, Fashion Dolls, you guys can catch John um, tomorrow and A Christmas Carol. So make sure you guys go and get your tickets. Go and check out his stories and get your tickets. Joining me tomorrow, we have the Vince Young. Again, Miss Stevie's 12 Days of Christmas continues with amazing guests all throughout this month of December. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And season 18 premieres January 2nd, 2024. So thank you guys so much for all your love and support. Stay tuned. And John, it was such a pleasure talking with you.
Always a pleasure talking with you. So I'm looking forward to coming back already.
Definitely, we'll set that up. All right,
Yeah,
Fashion Domes. You guys take care. And John, it was a pleasure. Definitely.
thank you. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
You too. Take care.
All right, see you guys.